Hi Virgo, welcome to your week ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Virgo, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you have the Judgment card. So the Judgment card has been very active this week. And what this tells me is that this week, where Mars, your ruling planet, certainly in ancient astrology, what are you talking about, Raph? Sorry, Mars is out of its retrograde, so you can tell it's still, both Mercury and Mars are still retrograde as I'm filming this, obviously. Mars will go direct on the 12th, so the day after the day that I'm actually filming this. Mercury, your ruling planet, will go direct on the 18th of January, right? And then on top of that, on the 21st, we've got the Aquarius new moon. And then from the 22nd, all planets are direct. That is a tidal wave of energy, of forward momentum that is starting to build, right? And the fact that we've got the Judgment card, that represents, it usually represents big changes, realizations and awakenings. Not like the Tower card though, you know, where it shows up in the external world and you're like, well shit, what do I do with this? This is more from like that internal, like there's a fresh peak of energy that's starting to become available to you now. And in some regard, the Judgment card is literally speaking to the big change of energy that is starting to show up now and is going to start to build as that sort of tidal wave of energy. And it kind of comes to a crescendo at the end of March, right? Just as we get into April, that's where it kind of, it'll ease off a bit, but certainly until then, we've got a lot of forward energy and momentum. Things are going to move fast, okay? So the fact that we've got the Judgment card coming up in a lot of readings really suggests that that change of energy is being felt across the board, quite literally. Sorry, I'm a dork, what can I say? You've got the King of Swords as your actions and options. So a change of mind, a literal change of mind. This week you are changing your mind on something. Maybe you're changing a direction on something. Maybe you have made a decision with the skills, the knowledge, the information and the resources that you have to kind of set something else into motion or to go in a different direction. There's nothing wrong with that at all. In fact, what it suggests is not only are you changing your direction, but for some of you, you might be taking an action that actually kind of maybe sets you apart in some way, or potentially, because it is the King of Swords, maybe a decision that you're making this week sort of, you know, it pisses some people off. Hey, listen, you got to break a few eggs and all that. The other thing as well, in terms of your actions this week, you really are tapping into and utilizing a lot more of your skills, the skills that you already have. For some of you, this is a week where you're sharpening your sword, right? Where you really are homing in on refining what you do, how you do it, and all of that good stuff. In terms of the options that are available to you, I wouldn't be surprised if very quickly you start to realize, okay, this is where this is going to take me. So it's not star card energy. You're not getting a glimpse into the future, as it were, but you are definitely getting an understanding of, okay, you know, my A plus that C is going to give me, you know, this result. For your communications and conversations, you got the Five of Wands with the Judgment card. This could be a recurring problem, challenge or issue that comes up in communication this week. So maybe there's an argument that you've had with a friend or a significant other. It's probably going to be more on a social level. So there's some old clash, or, you know, something that's come up previously is coming up again. This week it's a bit more of an annoyance than anything else. I don't think it's taking over anything. With the Judgment card in tow, it does suggest that this week you are able to lay something to rest that has come up time and time again. All right, so I actually really like this. And the fact that you're using the skill set that you have, maybe, just maybe, that's the element or the ingredient that you haven't used before. All right, so I like this for delving into the recesses of your mind and bringing up something new. For those of you that are, for those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, you might notice this week that you're actually either very different or kind of not. You might notice this week that you're either a cut above the rest, you know, not in a superior way, but, well, you are a Virgo after all. But, you know, you might realize this week that, okay, maybe I'm never going to fit with this community. That doesn't mean that this arena or industry is not for me. It just means that this set or group of people doesn't resonate with how I receive, ponder, experience and digest, and so therefore disseminate this information or this understanding. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, look, I mean, this combination's already come up previously, and for them, one of the things that I said was be mindful of office water cooler talk, you know, that kind of thing. But it may also be that some change that your boss, your company, etc. had tried to implement previously, maybe it didn't take. And this week you might find, okay, you know what? The reason it didn't take is because of this, this and this. It's like you're able to kind of close down old sort of open files or tabs this week. You're able to tie up loose ends and just kind of say, okay, you know what? That's done. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, I think for some of you, this may, I've got to be honest, it may potentially, I mean for all Virgos really, but it may potentially be, maybe not like a shouting match, but it might be a bit of an argument. This might be where you're kind of having to not even set a boundary, but where you're having to kind of say, listen, you know what, up until now I've kind of bit my tongue, but now I'm going to say something. So, hey, listen, it might be that week where you have to give someone a thorough dressing down. Just saying. When it comes to those of you that are retired and no longer working, because of the King of Swords, this as well, for those of you that are business owners, you may end up going head to head with somebody this week, and that might be where they get the thorough dressing down. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, for those of you, I actually think this might be a time where you decide to go back to school or to go back to studying something. This might be a week where you say, actually, you know what, I feel like I'm ready to enhance the learning that I have in that area. For your love and relations, you've got the Death card. Okay, so it doesn't have to be, but for a select few of you, it's a potential this week that an argument, and potentially one that has come up previously several times. I'm talking specifically to those of you that are like long-term boyfriend and girlfriend, boyfriend, girlfriend, you know, all the things. It may be that something is a deal breaker this week, and it's because it's come up so many times that it's like, you know what, we're never going to get past this, are we? For those of you that are married, partnered, or in long-term commitments, there's a potential, not guaranteed, but there's a potential that either your job or the partner's job is on shaky ground, and so you're having to really look at different or alternative avenues for how to move forward. Now, there is another combination of cards in here. Forget, you know, significant other relationships. Relations is also like your family, and I touch wood, and I really hope I'm wrong on this front, but you've got the Death card with the Judgment card. That's one of the few significators that represents physical death. I hope this isn't the case. If it is, it's more than likely going to be probably like somebody who is considered a friend rather than a family. Like, like a friend who's considered a family member. Like, it doesn't make it any easier, you know, it really doesn't. You know, at the end of the day, when we go to learn the final secret, that's what there is. It's very final, but you know, it's weird because I don't feel like it's like a direct family member, but it feels like somebody who is family. If that, you know, like sister from another mister, brother from another mother, like, you know, friends, like really close friends. For those of you that are single, it's just not a week for love. You obviously have other things that you're very focused on, and some of that seems to be work, etc. For your money and materials, you've got the Hanged Man. Even with the planets all direct and the Aquarius new moon, it's not a week for big purchases. Not yet, all right? Hold off on it. And where you're mixing and mingling money with friendship and or acquaintances, this is not the week for it. Okay, like it's probably there's going to be either some sort of hold up, some kind of delay, or you're not getting the money back when it's promised to be returned. So I just want you to be very, very conscious of this week. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, especially with the Judgment card, if you've had hormonal imbalances, problems with your internal waters, or even potentially problems with eyesight, this week you could gain like a different perspective that helps you kind of say, okay, this might actually be coming from ... So maybe you're having you know, a doctor's appointment that finally brings some results after there's been a lot of confusion over what's going on, specifically in the areas that I mentioned. Yeah, especially eyes. And then when it comes to your home and environment, the Hanged Man, a touch wood, this is water. All right, so whether it's plumbing, whether there are things that you know, like with water and stuff that need to be looked at, please get it done this week so that it doesn't become a problem, because it's likely that whatever it is, it's already come up before and you've been slacking on getting it fixed. Okay, with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Look after yourselves, take care, and I'll speak to you soon.